Hey everybody, ronarray here, and as you already know, the level in Strat received a heavy blow in 3.25, since the Teachings Scarabs for experience were completely deleted from the game. So in this video, I want to showcase a new strategy that I've been using in 3.25 to level up my character and some gems faster. That strategy also will be able to provide a decent amount of gold and has a solid potential for some drops as well. Check out the timestamps as usual and let's go. So to keep the pure experience high, we will need to use a combination of different mechanics in there. The main one that will help us with getting a lot of experience will be Shrines, Beyond, Breach and Delirium together. All of those mechanics are going to provide a lot of monsters in the map, so we will be able to get our experience from them. High density Breach, Delirium and Shrines packs are going to spawn a lot of Beyond monsters too, so they will synergize together pretty well. The extension of the idea is to use Evolving Shrine from Dominating Scarab of Evolution to clear all those monsters under its influence. Evolving Shrine will give us a chance to evolve monsters from white to magic and from magic to rare, for all our other mechanics including Beyond, Breach and Delirium as well. We will receive more experience from those monsters due to that evolution, and we also get more gold, which is very nice for the strategy. So generally talking about our Scarab setup, we will need to use at least 2 Domination Scarab of Evolution, but I recommend not to touch Evolving Shrine if you already have Evolving Shrine on you. So if you encounter an Evolving Shrine while you have Evolving Shrine on yourself, you need to just wait until your first Evolving Shrine will run out. However, we are going to use 2 Domination Scarabs of Evolution, because the limit is pretty much 2, and we are going to receive additional shrines based on that. We are also going to use Breach Scarabs, and I recommend to use at least 2, because we will need breaches inside the map. The next step is pretty much using Beyond Scarab of Invasion, because it's going to give you additional Beyond portals from rare monsters, which is a very nice bonus. So generally Breach Scarab right now should cost between 1 and 2 chaoses, and it's the same for Domination Scarab of Evolution. You can generally buy it for 1 chaos in many cases, and even if you can't buy it for 1, you can buy it for 2. Pretty much Beyond Scarab of Invasion is very cheap as well, and you can get it between 1 and 2 chaoses as well. So for 5 Scarabs at worst, you will need to pay 10 chaoses, which making that strategy is very cheap, because you can even pay less if you're going to buy bulk or 4 divines. And the next step is pretty much the map. So for the map, you will need to use a proper layout with a lot of open space, such as Mesa for example. And for Mesa, you will be able to roll it with at least 100% quantity and pack size around 30%. That's pretty important because pack size is going to help us heavily with pretty much amount of monsters, and more monsters will always give us more experience. So the next step, you need to take any Delirium orb. So any Delirium orb that you can get and pretty much click your map with the Delirium orb. Delirium orb should cost about 3 chaoses and any of them will work. It will add guaranteed level of Delirium and Delirium monsters inside the map. We don't need anything else. It's going to provide some rewards, but it's not important what kind of rewards it will be. We just needed to have more monsters. So pretty much Delirious map like that will be a best option. And the last part is pretty much our craft. So here we'll have 2 options. We can use Domination Craft, which is very nice, and Domination Craft could cost only 3 chaoses and will give us additional shrines and additional monsters. Or we can use a Breach Craft, which will cost more but will provide 3 additional breaches. Generally, I played it with Breach Craft. However, if you prefer more shrines to clear the map faster, you can use Domination instead. But generally the whole map with all expansions should cost about 15 chaoses at maximum, and it's going to provide a decent amount of experience together with some drops as well. We will also need to choose between Ether and Exarch, and for that setup I think Ether is going to work better, because on average can provide more monsters and the altars themselves could be more beneficial. You also will have a slight chances to roll Divine Altar, which always would be good. So I'm pretty much picking Ether in most of those cases, and I recommend to run it. So talking about the Atlas. Currently in the Atlas, the most important part to take is just explicit modifiers levels, because it's going to increase the pack size too. You generally need to take most of the buffs for the breach in there, like Evolving Hives and Probing for Weakness. After that, you will also need to get Supplication, because more shrines will provide more monsters too. And you can get Duration Shrines, because that way Evolving Shrine will stay at your character for a longer time. We are generally taking all options for explicit modifiers here, here, and here. And I also recommend to take Swarming Hive, because Swarming Hive can help you a little with Divination card drops, and that could be nice at least in some cases. We can also take Beyond Chances, and a very important part is to take Endless Tide, because if your Beyond is going to spawn you a boss, you're going to lose the Beyond from that moment. So we need Beyond to be endless, and pretty much Endless Tide is working very good for it. You also will need to take Scent of Blood and other chances to attract Beyond, because you will need to have Beyond in every map. Passing through the top, I also recommend to go for Eldritch Gaze, because Eldritch Gaze itself will provide you much more altar bonuses. It's also very important to take a pack size here for Ether, because pack size is going to raise the amount of monsters, amount of Beyond monsters that will spawn out of those monsters, and pretty much will raise your whole result significantly too. And the next step, you also will need to take Drawn to Power, because it's going to give you additional magic packs, which is very nice option. For Breach, we don't need to take more than we currently have, but if you will have more points, you can always go for Within Their Grasp or Torture Dreams. However, since it's just a experience-oriented strategy, I do not recommend to take anything additional except that, because we are just trying to maximize our experience. Another great question is why we are not picking Abyss. Abyss can give like Abyssal Army, for example, to spawn 50% increase monsters and to grant some experience from them. I think Abyss is pretty nice. I'm not blocking it right now, but we don't have a lot of space to pretty much take it. I currently think that Breach itself is faster than the Abyss, and it can provide a decent amount of monsters too. It's also much easier to spawn big amount of breaches in one map, because adding a lot of abysses could be pretty hard. So generally I just prefer Breach over Abyss right now, because before Abyss worked better together with Breach, but right now I just don't think it's justified. If you really like the Abyss, you can pretty much spend 3 points here for Abyssal Army and maybe some additional points for Reactive Swarm. So there's such option. That way you will just need to repick one of the Scarabs with Abyss Scarab. But generally I don't recommend that, and I think Breach itself is going to work much better. Another interesting question is, do you need to speed up your Breach or not? So I don't really think that Flash Breach is necessary. You can take it only if your clear is like very good. If it's not, you can just not take any of those knots, or you can take Heavy Breach. However, I think that Heavy Breach can make your breaches too slow. In that regard, it could be not that good in terms of experience per hour, and usually I try not to take it. However, if you feel like your breaches are closing too fast, you can try Heavy Breach as an option. Another interesting question is pretty much what to do if you can't handle Delirium. That way you could just avoid it completely, so just don't use Delirium Orb on any of your maps, and you can completely ignore that step. We are not taking any bonuses for Delirium in R3, so it's not that important to roll it. I generally prefer to have it, but if your PC can't handle it or your build can't handle it, you can pretty much just drop Delirium completely out of the map and just run it without it. The experience is still going to be pretty decent. So if you feel like it's absolutely necessary to speed up your maps, I recommend to take Flash Breach together with 2 Breach passives right here for Breach speed and drop Delirium completely. Those simple steps are going to speed up your maps significantly and maybe will provide you with better results if your build is fast enough. So another pretty cool trick that you can use while leveling your character, and it only affects the character. You can use Omen of Amelioration. It will save you 70% of experience, 75% of experience loss if you die. So if you're playing like normal league, trade league, and you're not playing hardcore, it's a very decent option. You also need to ensure that you don't have other omens in your inventory, otherwise Omen of Amelioration could fail to be used when you're dead. So just make sure you have at least one in your inventory and you don't have other omens. It can help you, especially if you will get overwhelmed at some point, like pick too many altars, or you have a squishy build overall. So for leveling process, I definitely recommend that. And the last part that I want to mention, while you're running that strategy, you're going to encounter a lot of breaches, and some of breaches are going to belong to Chayula. So you're probably going to drop a significant amount of Chayula splinters. Not too much because the strategy is not dedicated for it, but still enough. So after you get Chayula Bridgestones, you can pretty much run them too for additional bonus experience. They're not providing big numbers of experience, but Chayula itself is very fast. So just in the amount of experience per hour, it's a very decent option too. Since you will receive a few bridgestones, you can sell them or pretty much run them yourself for even more experience. So that's been my guide for faster leveling in 3.25 and onward. I think right now we lost some of the bonuses from fast leveling, and leveling is definitely slower, especially if you're not going to run additional maps or bridgestones or stuff like that. So it's still a pretty decent amount of experience, and I think it could be helpful if you want to level up some gems or you just want to level up some percentages for your character. So it will be pretty nice. It also will net you a decent amount of gold, and I hope some drops as well, so it's not a bad strategy for that purposes. Hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you very much for watching, guys. ronarray out.